From political shifts and economic updates to viral social moments and trending pop culture, we've got you covered with all the information you need to stay ahead. Whether it's breaking news, the latest from social media, or a deep dive into what's really happening on the global stage, you'll find it right here, delivered fast, clear, and to the point.
Okay, so we've got a really fascinating topic to dive into today.
Yeah, should be interesting for sure.
You guys sent in, well, let's be honest, a flood of articles, pictures, firsthand accounts, the whole 9 yards about the recent aurora sightings. And honestly, seeing the northern lights reach as far south as, get this, San Antonio, Texas.
Whoa!
Yeah, Texas. That's just unheard of.
Right, totally wild, right? Like, it really shows just how incredibly active and powerful the connection between, the Earth and the sun actually is.
I mean, we talk about space weather, but it's easy to think of that as like some abstract thing not actually affecting us down here.
Totally.
And then bam, aurora in Texas, case closed.
So for anyone who hasn't gone down the aurora rabbit hole with me a zillion times, what is this phenomenon?
Okay, so picture this. The sun's always blasting out these charged particles, right?
Yeah.
It's called the solar wind. Most of the time, Earth's magnetic field is like, nope, not today, and deflects them. But some of those particles, they sneak in toward the poles.
And that's when things get cool. They smash into the gases in our atmosphere, oxygen, nitrogen, and bam, that collision. Light show.
So that's the aurora, those shimmering lights.
Exactly. Those dancing lights everyone's going bonkers over.
And the colors, we got to talk about the colors. I saw pictures, green, red, even purple. What's with that?
So each color is basically tied to what gas is involved and how high up it's happening. Most common, that bright green, that's oxygen doing its thing, lower down. But get this, higher up, oxygen makes red.
No way.
Yeah, it's wild, right? And then there's nitrogen. Nitrogen gives us the blues and purples, which makes the whole thing even more intense looking,
Like a giant atmospheric light show.
Yeah.
This wasn't just any aurora, though, right?
Yeah.
All the reports kept mentioning something called a geomagnetic storm.
Yeah.
And this K-op index thing.
You're totally right. So the sun, right, it's got its own weather patterns, kind of. Solar flares, coronal mass ejections, all that jazz. Big bursts of energy, releasing tons of these charged particles.
Okay, so those particles cause a kind of storm.
Exactly, the geomagnetic storm. And the KP index, that's like the measuring stick for how much those particles are messing with Earth's magnetic field. Higher CAPE, stronger storm, potentially a brighter, more visible aurora.
So with this event, the KP index hit 4, which isn't, off the charts or anything.
Right.
But the aurora was visible way further south than usual. How does that work?
That's the million-dollar question. It's not just about how strong the storm is, it's also about the way our magnetic field is shaped and angled when the storm hits. It's like sometimes the storm and the magnetic field line up in this perfect way to amplify the effect, pushing the aurora further from the poles.
Makes sense. And here we are, talking about a light show as this massive energy exchange, which, let's be real, these geomagnetic storms, they're not just pretty lights, right?
Definitely not. A really big geomagnetic storm it could mess with our tech big time. Radio goes out, satellites get confused. That's a recipe for trouble.
So there's a very real impact on us down here.
Huge impact. Remember that big blackout in Quebec back in '89? Yeah, that was a solar storm, flexing its muscles. Crazy to think about.
It's both kind of terrifying and amazing, right? I mean, this beautiful thing could also throw our technology back to the Stone Age. Talk about perspective.
No kidding. And it's not just about what could go wrong either. Scientists use auroras to study Earth's magnetic field, learn more about the sun. It's like this giant natural science experiment happening right above us.
And we get a front row seat. It's not just science, though, is it?
Yeah.
I was reading about how auroras have always been part of mythology and folklore and all that.
Oh, totally. Different cultures for
ever have seen these lights and been like, whoa, what's that about?
The Norse thought they were the armor of the Valkyries, those mythical warrior women who lived and died in battle. They thought they were like riding across the sky, all shimmery and powerful.
Wow. So from scary space weather to ancient myths, the aurora's got it all going on. There's this one thing that really struck me, though, and it's that the aurora is always happening up there.
Yeah.
Right? We just can't always see it, with daylight and clouds and all.
Yeah. Crazy, right? This whole light show is just going on and on, whether we catch it or not.
It's a good reminder that the universe doesn't really care if we're watching or not. It's just doing its thing. So who knows what else is out there, hidden in plain sight, waiting for us to discover it, right?
Now that is a thought, isn't it?
Thanks for watching, everyone. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to smash that like button. It helps the channel. And if you're new here or just haven't yet, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our future content. Oh, and don't forget to ring the bell icon so you'll be the first to know when we drop something new. Trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming up.